everyone, today we're going to be doing the 20 worst products from 20 brands in under 20 minutes. I said this in a previous video too, it's hopefully going to be under 20 minutes. If it's not, I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it in almost under 20 minutes, but that's what we're going to do. So this was inspired by Jen Loves Reviews video where she did the best products from 20 brands in under 20 minutes. I've also done that, so I will link that in the corner if you want to check that out, but I think we should just get into this video. So I don't have all of the products on hand that I'm going to talk about because a lot of these were either returned or I have decluttered them a while ago, but I do have about half of them. So for the ones that I don't have, I'll put pictures up on the screen for you, but let's just get into this and see if I can keep this under 20 minutes. So the first thing on my list is actually a product that I don't have in front of me, and this is the Colourpop pressed powder. I usually like everything I try from Colourpop, but this powder was the most cakiest thing that I think I've ever felt on my skin in my entire life. I tried using it to set my face with, I tried using it to set my under eyes with, and both places it just looked absolutely awful. I don't know if I just have the wrong skin type for that powder or what, but that one did just not work for me. So let me know if you've tried that and if you liked it. I never hear anybody talk about it, so I can't be the only one who doesn't think that's a good product. The next product I had to dig out of my trash because I threw this in the trash the other day, and I just talked about this in a video, and this is the Wet n Wild Skinny Mascara. I freaking hate this. This is by far the worst thing that I've bought from Wet n Wild. It didn't do anything for my lashes, so that's going back in the trash where it belongs because I don't want to see that in my life ever again. From NYX, the worst product that I've ever tried is probably going to be their, what are these called? Vivid Brights. They are so crackly. I can put these on my eyes and 2 minutes later there's just like cracks and flake coming off, and it's a really bad formula. The only way I can make this work is if I use it to do dots with, and if I'm very careful and I don't use a lot of product. Otherwise this one just, I can't do anything with this. I have it in red as well, which I mean it's in my declutter pile along with where I pulled this out of because I had to literally dig through my declutters to find some of these products because I don't want them to be in my collection again, and I'm just waiting for my friends to look through all my stuff so I can get rid of the shit that is just really bad, and this is definitely one of those products. The next product I also don't have. This is because I ended up returning it, and this is the Natasha To Donna Tropic palette. I have the Sunset palette. I really like it. It's not really my kind of color story anymore. I used to be into like warm tones a lot more before I started my channel than I am now. So I did decide to end up buying the Tropic palette because I really liked the first palette from her, and I wasn't impressed. The shimmers in that was just, it was a mess. I mean, I'm sorry, but some of the shadows also just had no pigmentation whatsoever, and I don't know, like the neutrals were okay, but even back then I didn't really play a lot with the neutrals, so I was mostly in it for like the beautiful shimmers and the pastels, and none of those performed. They were terrible, so I ended up returning that one. And for the most part, I'm really happy with everything I buy from Natasha To Donna, but that palette was a big miss. So it's funny, I have a lot of powders on my list, and the next powder on my list is the Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Setting Powder. I really wanted this to be good, but I think what I didn't like about this was that it only had one shade, and it said it was supposed to be translucent, but the powder actually was too dark for me, and that's kind of weird because I'm not even like that fair. And when I tried it in the summer and I had a bit of a tan, so I'm like, who is going to use this? Like, this is ridiculous. I feel like the powder worked well though, like it was okay, but the fact that it said translucent and it only comes in one shade, like that is not acceptable in my book. So I am putting that on my list for that reason, because I couldn't use it. Like, how can I not use a translucent powder? Like, that's just not okay. So that ended up my list for that reason. I've not really had any like big misses with Urban Decay in general. I do like most of their products, but that one I actually ended up returning because there was no way I was going to be able to use that. The next product is from Juvia's Place, and this really hurts me to say, but it was hard for me to find 20 brands that I have tried bad products from. But I have tried all of the palettes from Juvia's Place, and the Freak palette is just, it's not really that great. It's okay, but some of the shadows are just complete duds, especially the blue here and the yellow. They're just not very good. So for that reason alone, I'm going to put this palette into this video because I was pretty disappointed with this palette. It's one of those that I've definitely changed my mind about. I did think it was pretty good when I used it in my first videos, but to be fair, it was one of the first videos that I ever made, and I was probably a bit shy back then, which I'm not anymore, so I could definitely say that I'm not the biggest fan of this palette. I think that a lot of the shades are really good, but I mean, with there being such two big duds and them being some of the most important shadows in this palette, given that they are primary colors, it just sucks that this palette is just not that great. So sorry Juvia's Place, I love you, but this palette, this ain't it. From Morphe, I've honestly had really good luck with most of their products, but what I'm going to mention in this video is one of their eyeliners. This one is in the shade Poolside. It's a beautiful kind of tealy blue green. The problem I have with this is that it's so hard to get into my waterline. It's not very soft, it's very stiff and hard, and it's very uncomfortable to try to get this into your eyes because it just doesn't glide on. So for that reason, I'm going to put this up. I don't think there's really any other products from Morphe that I haven't liked. So, you know, this thing is it's pretty bad. So don't buy any of the eyeliners from Morphe. I don't know if they have retractable ones, but this is like a sharpening one. And these are just not very good. The next product I know I have mentioned in videos in the past, and this is the Benefit Blush Bar Palette. I bought this probably a year and a half ago or something. I don't know, it's been a while. I think it was one of their Christmas releases. It might have been like a fall release as well. But it's one of those palettes that come with like 2 bronzers, I think, and 3 blushes. All that are like existing from their collection already. And the problem with those were that they just weren't pigmented at all. And it seemed like they were a different formula than what comes in the singles. And I've definitely realized that now. And the blush palettes are they sound like they're going to be really good value, but trust me when I say they're not that good. They're very overrated, very overpriced. Even though it sounds like you're getting a good price, the product inside is not worth the money. So please skip on those unless you see reviews and people actually like them. But the one that I had was such a big dud. The next product is from Maybelline, and this is their Full Coverage Super Stay Powder Foundation. I thought this would be a good powder to wear on top of the Super Stay foundation because I never use a powder foundation on its own. So I thought maybe this could be good to set my foundation with. But for some reason, when I use this to set my foundation, I get so oily so fast, and that makes no sense at all because this is supposed to be the Super Stay powder along with the Super Stay foundation, so you would think that would be like a mega stay combination, but nope, this thing is terrible. I don't like it at all. It does give a little bit of extra coverage, but I mean the formula is it's not for me. I did not like it. I was really hoping I would, but it just didn't work for me. The next product on my list is from Hooda, and this is their Demi Matte Liquid Lipstick. I bought this thinking I would really like it because it sounded like something that I would like, because I do like matte lipsticks that are kind of like, they don't have to dry down, but I still like a lipstick that like is almost kind of matte and are supposed to be like very comfortable and long wearing. But there was something about that formula that I just could not like, get along with. I don't remember exactly why I ended up returning it, but I know I wore it once, hated it, and I ended up getting it back to the store. I think it was because it was a little bit too thick, and also, you know, when you go like, it really just like messed up my lipstick, and it kind of like gathered in weird spots, and it wouldn't be like really smooth on my lips. I had a hard time getting it to be smooth on my lips for whatever reason. It didn't look good on me. I didn't like it. I didn't like the smell of it either. So I ended up returning that one. I never hear anybody talk about that. So I feel like, again, I'm probably not the only one who didn't like that release. I don't know. I feel like even right after they came out, nobody really talked about them. So clearly they just weren't that good. The next palette on my... No, not the next palette. The next brand on my list is going to be Oprah, and this is a palette that I bought at IMATS in, what was it, January? It was this year, anyway. This is the Francesca Tollett collab that they did with Oprah. It's a cute palette, but the formula in this is just not my kind of thing at all. There's so many satin shades, which I cannot stand satins. I don't like working with them all. And they're not even really like shiny satins. They're weird. It's a weird formula. They're not very pigmented. They're just very lackluster. That's the best way to describe this. Like, you look at this palette and you're like, ooh, that's kind of bright. That's going to be kind of fun. But then when you try to put them on your eyes, like, you're expecting something like what I'm wearing today, and that's not at all what you're getting, because this palette is going to give you some very, very just muted looks, and I didn't like it. I thought it was very badly advertised, and it's not what you think it's going to be, and it was really expensive, and I really regret getting it because it sucks. This next one I feel like a lot of people are going to hate me for, but this is the Fenty Diamond Bomb Highlighter. I have a thing with glittery highlighters that they don't seem to want to stick on my face, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if I need to put down super glue for them to stick on my face, but that thing literally got everywhere. Like, it just flies everywhere. you can't like control where you want to put it. It doesn't stay put. I don't know. I did not like that. I thought it was just too glittery too. I didn't really know exactly what to expect when I bought it because I'd seen people use it online, and on them it just looked like a really nice wet highlighter, but then when you try to put it on yourself, it's like putting loose glitter on your face that doesn't have anything to stick to, and it's just, it's a mess. It did not look good, at least for me. I know a lot of people love it, like I said, but I could not for the life of me get that thing to work, so I ended up returning it after trying it like 4 times. It's nice on the body though, I will say that. I did go to a festival with some friends and family, and I kind of used it like on my shoulders and stuff, and out in the sunlight it looked beautiful. But then again, I didn't really care if it like got all over the rest of my body because I wasn't wearing it on my face, you know, but I didn't like the highlighter. From Anastasia, my least favorite product is their liquid lipsticks. I've only tried one. I thought it was way too thick, way too drying, not very comfortable, didn't wear well, not a fan. The next brand is going to be Hourglass, and I honestly want to just like say their foundations because I've tried the last one. Don't remember what it was called. It was like the, so first off, like the one that I have on my list is the Vanish Stick Foundation, and they also came up with the Vanish Fluid Foundation, and both of those I hated. None of them worked for me. The Stick Foundation was just, it was way too dewy. It just broke apart on me. It just didn't wear very well. I didn't have the correct shade in it. They literally did not have my shade in the whole entire range, so I feel like their shade range is just not that great. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I felt like everything was just like a little bit weird with the undertone, so I couldn't find a good match with the foundation stick either. And with the liquid foundation, that thing was just so like, I don't even know what it was about it. I felt like it was just really hard to blend it out and get a decent application, even just applying a little bit at the time. It just seemed like it ended up really patchy. It didn't match well with my concealer. Thankfully, I only had like a tiny little sample like this, so I didn't have to return it, but I didn't like any of those foundations, so maybe Hourglass's foundations are just not for me. I prefer their powder products. So the next one is from Blush Tribe, and this is their Neon Dreams eyeshadow palette. I did a video with this. I could not for the life of me get this to work. This just did not want to cooperate on my eyes. It's a beautiful palette. The shades in it are beautiful. I did hear though that there were rumors that there were 2 different batches made and that this is now being discontinued, and the owner of Blush Tribe did not reach out to anybody about this. She didn't post about it on Instagram. She didn't make a statement about it saying that people could ask for returns. I definitely got a bad palette if that was the case because this thing sucks. It's terrible. I could not get it to work, so yeah, that's pretty much it with that one. The next product or brand is going to be Jeffree Star, and this is a product that I got in my mystery bag. This is their Supreme Frost Frozen Peach Highlighter. This thing is just the most lackluster thing that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, do you see anything? I barely see anything, and then when you put it on your skin, it's almost like it just disappears. Like, this is not supreme in any way at all. I mean, this should just be called something else. I wish I had a good sense of humor and I could think of something funny to say and come up with a name that would be really hilarious, but I don't. But this thing sucks, and I'm gonna give this away to someone and hopefully they will like it more than I do because I'm not a fan of that. Next on my list is going to be Revlon, and for that I'm going to say their Photo Ready Eye Art. I will say that the cream side here is really, really beautiful, but I never use cream liquid shadows like this. I wouldn't know when to ever use this. Like, this to me looks like a satin, and you guys know how I feel about satins. I'm not a fan of that, so that's just not a kind of product that I would use. Now the glitter side, on the other hand, it's beautiful. It's really, really, really pretty, especially layered on top of something else. It's just really, really, really nice. But the problem with this is that if I put this all over my eyes will get so irritated and start watering, and they really react to this. And on top of that, this thing crumbles and does not settle down very nicely. It cracks, it flakes off your lids. It's not pretty. So, I mean, this could probably last well for a picture, and that's about it. So I really regret picking these up. I have like 3 of them. Again, this was in my declutter pile, so obviously never going to be using that again unless it's for a video or something. But yeah, I did not like those products at all. Something else that I did absolutely not like is the Vizier Petite Pro. I actually got this sent to me by my friend Prue because she didn't like it either, and I was like, let me try it, maybe I'll like it. But I should have known better. I should have known better. This is what the palette looks like. It's cute. Is it a color story that I would have picked up myself? Probably not, but I did want to try it just to see what the hype was all about, and there's no hype around this because this sucks. Something else that is one of the worst products that I've probably ever tried. This is so old that it's even in the old packaging. This is the Tarte Creaseless Concealer. Oh my goodness, the thickness of this concealer, it's almost impossible to blend out. Even if you just put on a little bit, like the tiniest amount, it just won't blend out. And if you, by a miracle, you're able to blend this out, it just creases right away. Like, I don't know what they thought about when they named this a creaseless concealer, because this creases more than any other concealer has ever creased on me, so I don't know what they were thinking. I know they have repackaged this. I don't know if they have reformulated it, but I hated this more than anything I think I've ever tried in my life. So the last product that I want to mention is something that I don't hate as much, but I still don't like it, and this is the Sourmet eyeshadow primer. This kind of looks like a MAC paint pot, but this thing creased like on me, and I'm not about that. I never had problems with eyeshadows creasing as long as I get them on my eyes without them creasing, but throughout the day I never have problems with eyeshadows wearing off or creasing, and this thing started creasing on me after like 4 hours, which no eyeshadow primer ever does. But I've gotten so many products sent to me through Octoly by Sourmet that I absolutely love, so I really had high hopes for this. And I even have a lipstick that I just got from them that I've been testing out that I think has become my all-time favorite liquid lipstick formula. So I'll share about that in a different video. I don't think I have time in this one because I'm running out of time. So that is going to be all of my 20 products. Let me know if you tried any of these and if you agree with my opinions. I know people are definitely going to disagree with me on a couple of these, but that is totally fine because we are all allowed to have different opinions. So if you like this video, I'm going to pop some more content up on the screen for you so you can go check out those as well. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.